Jonathan,
Yes.
I lost it. Oh, what are the bare essentials to qualify as a Christian?
The bare essentials, I would say, is like the barest of
The
essentials.
divinity of Christ, the triune nature of God.
Yes. Bodily resurrection.
Bodily resurrection.
Right, and I tie to that the belief of miracles.
Well, okay.
The inspiration, and even if you
kinda
reject
ipso
inerrancy, I would still put in
Authority of Scripture.
the inspiration and authority of Scripture. Okay. Well, the inspiration too.
Yeah, this is in whatever sense.
Now you can make a doctrine of God argument that inspiration entails inerrancy, but I'm just saying at minimum, bare essential, I'd say that you'd have to believe that Scripture is inspired and inerrant. Inspired and authoritative, even if you reject inerrancy. I think that those two would be foundational. And I know like the fundamentalists would throw in the virgin birth, but you can get most of that except for a clear statement of Scripture from like the Apostles' Creed, right? But I think that if you were to survey the formulation of those creeds, whether it's the Apostles' Nicene or the Athanasian Creed, they would have a high view of Scripture.
Well, let's pause for a minute because someone did ask a question a moment ago that I do want to address. Is we actually have a video from way back on weird cults. If you look up Trinity Radio and weird cults, you will come up with a list of very small participated in small numbers cults, but. I think somewhere in that, maybe the beginning or the end, we talk about the two, a couple of kinds of Satanism. There's theistic Satanism, and at the time that I looked up the data, which was probably like 7 years ago, I think it was like really down. It was like only in the tens of thousands or something. And then non-theistic Satanism, an atheist could be a part of that. And there are that, and I think that for some atheists, I'm just giving you my vibe. I haven't looked at numbers on this, but it seems like some of the atheists that I've known for a few years or at least a couple of them are identifying now as Satanists. And so I think it could be that that's something that atheists are.
I mean, like the non-theistic secular Satanists that just...
The blood atonement. Yes. The atonement. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Pritchett.
Yeah. The kind of like that secular Satanism, the non-theistic.
Yeah. Non-theistic.
I mean,
but now the point that everyone will want to make in the Christian side of that is to say, okay, but if you look at the things that non-theistic Satanism promotes, the idea is that like, well, we have these satanic displays like, what's that guy's name, Sam Smith? Everybody's up in arms about the satanic, Jonathan? The satanic.
That's the...
Was that Sam Smith?
The singer guy that was at the
Satan. Everybody, the Christians are going to do
this. That's music from the last 15 years, and I don't believe it exists. So
okay. It's not a terrible move, but the idea is that that's the satanic panic. All the evangelicals are worried about.
No,
that. I'm sure there are, but
that's just a troll.
But yeah, this is and to the extent that someone who is a non-theistic,
I mean, if Slayer wasn't having
that,
pentagrams, back in the 80s on theirs. Right. I mean, come on. We've seen
the notion is that some conservatives are pointing out, and that I think is a fair thing to point out, is the principles that Satan champions, if you boil them down, insofar as those are actually promoted in some sense by the Church of Satan, well, then even if you don't believe that Satan exists as an entity or that Christianity is true or that any God exists, you can still underscore the things that the character of Satan underscores. Yeah. And in that way, it's satanic for those of us who believe that it's true.
I mean, we believe that you're operating under that influence and power. So, like I said, our worldview can explain all kinds of things. You don't have to believe it, but for me, it's like, you're still operating within the sphere of Satan's power and domain. So,